Interface Video, in cooperation with Fairfield Federal, presents Fairfield Today. Brought to you by Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan, Fairfield Medical Center, Fair Hope Hospice and Palliative Care, the Frankie Smith Funeral Home, Fairfield County Adam H., Dagger Law, and the Fairfield County Board of Developmental Disabilities.
Hello friends, welcome to Fairfield Today. I'm Paul Jackson, your host. Thank you for joining us as we telecast from the lobby. Once again, we're so pleased to be back for these past several weeks here at Fairfield Federal downtown. We did several of the shows out at the Interface Video offices on West Fair, and that was fine. We enjoyed just getting back into it, getting to do the show again after about 3 months of everything being shut down. But now with Fairfield Federal opening up again, that there's at least the lobby is open. There are still, limitations in distancing and the cleaning that they do here at Fairfield Federal, but their lobby is open again, and appreciate our opportunity to come back here and be with us. As we indicated, almost any interview we do now with anybody begins with an update on how the virus has affected them or their business or whatever they're involved with. And I'm certain this one will be no different today. Anna Tobin is our guest. She's the Executive Director on Meals on Wheels. And as we think about an age group that was super affected by this pandemic, it is your wheelhouse. These are the people you deal with, senior citizens. My goodness, when I think about the pandemic and how it's affected businesses, I think, boy, everything you did was involved with this, and it had some effect.
Right, exactly. Meals on Wheels Senior Services Center is that number one resource for our seniors here in Fairfield County to help keep them connected, to help keep them healthy, and to help keep them independent.
And then all of a sudden...
And yeah, we were challenged in ways beyond you can even imagine, because if you're thinking about the seniors who come to our sites for meals and socialization, that all stopped. The home deliveries, we had to keep doing those. You can't just stop feeding people. We were essential workers. We were there day in and day out through this entire process. But through this whole process, it was always number one, the safety, the well-being of our clients, of our staff, and of our volunteers. Because as you may recall, as we entered into this pandemic, it came on hot and heavy, and it was just daily briefings from the governor's office and the Ohio Department of Aging on how to best handle these types of situations. So you get one thing in place, and then you had to back up and change out. But I have to give tremendous amount of kudos to our team for that flexibility. We did not lay anyone off during that time.
Nice.
People came to work, but buddy, you might end up doing something very different than what you normally do, because of course the in-home assessments stopped, but we continued to take in new clients via the telephone. But a lot of our care coordinators then weren't spending time driving to clients' homes, so they had additional time. So we, reassigned them to deliver routes, to do the commodity food box program, to help at the front desk, or to help cover phones. So everybody's just working together just to make sure that the services continued and that our seniors felt that they still had a connection. And so some of the things that we had done in response to the whole situation were the emergency management team came to us and said, boy, we'd really like to have some emergency food deliveries for those people who may not otherwise qualify for Meals on Wheels. Of course, they were age appropriate, but they were self-isolating due to the pandemic, so they needed food in their home. So we did emergency food deliveries of frozen meals to people on a bi-weekly basis.
Oh my.
We instituted an emergency grocery service, so if those people who maybe didn't have anyone to shop for them or get groceries in the home, we were able to get groceries in the home for them. We increased our phone support. There were many seniors who wanted added to that program so that they would receive a phone call at least a couple of times a week so that they had connection to the outside world. So lots going on. And now we're most challenged now is, how do we do virtual classes? How do we do virtual education? Whether it's through computers, and what kind of challenges does that place on us, when we're trying to connect with seniors, or is it more of a telephone type, teleconference type situation? So our whole goal in this all is keeping those seniors connected, keeping them fed, making sure that their needs are taken care of. And the last initiative that we sent out was care packages. And it just came at the point in time where, the toilet paper, the toothpaste, masks, different things were needed by the seniors who can't get out. And so we were able to work with Meijer and Walmart and to get some donation from them, and then Meals on Wheels, of course, and the Central Ohio Area Office on Aging all kind of worked together to fund those packages. And we got over 800 of those packages out to our seniors. So I just, I'm very proud of our team. I'm very proud of the fact that we were able to stay the course. We were able to make sure our seniors were fed throughout the hardest part of all this, because at one point, I think when they put the stay-at-home order in place, did you feel a little like, oh my gosh, what's happening here?
It was just something you couldn't believe.
Yeah, and so at one point we did pull back in the delivery to 2 days a week, still giving the seniors all the meals they needed. We supplement with frozen for in between, but at a certain point it was like, boy, we really need to protect each other. So we put that in place for probably about a month, and then we came back to our 5 days a week delivery.
And on your staff and the people that you have working, did you have any people that got involved in the virus that got it, or were you pretty safe?
Oh my goodness, knock on wood, because at Meals on Wheels, we already have really stringent sanitizing and cleaning procedures in place, especially in the kitchen.
Now you amp that up.
And you amp that up, and then our delivery service went to a little bit of a different type delivery, so we're knocking on the door now, getting a visual,
and
then leaving the meal on a table, on the porch, or on the doorknob, because we see the senior coming, to pick it up. Now for those people who were bedbound, we still entered the home, but then with tremendous amount of precaution for both the senior and for our staff. And so we've worked very hard. I have to thank the Central Ohio Area Office on Aging and the EMA for helping make sure we had the protective equipment in our hands, the hand sanitizers, the masks, and that kind of thing available to our team. Volunteers in the community were incredible. When packing up these bags of food right up front, we wanted to make sure our seniors had 14 days of food in the event that, wonder if we do get sick. We have to close down that kitchen, for 14 days, because if our kitchen crew goes out, it'll be tough times. So the community stepped up. Mandy Custer had a group of people that she organized, and we had volunteers.
You get Mandy behind something, you're getting it going.
Yeah, she really did a fabulous job. And again, I don't think we could have made it through as we did without the support of all the volunteers who stepped up and did things like this. We needed food packed. We needed additional deliveries for the commodity food program. We had the state troopers come and help us deliver. Fairfield Heating and Cooling, the Canal 5-star Heating Cooling. They'd come in and just say, what can we do to help? And you'd load up their trucks, and they would get the commodity boxes out to seniors. So just feel very, very blessed by the support of the community through all this.
One thing we were talking before we went on live, we were just chatting about a few things, and about your congregate sites that you have out there. Tell us about that.
Okay, so in the city of Lancaster, we have 6 congregate sites. The largest is Sister Lucille's Cafe there at the Meals on Wheels location. And then there's 5 other sites out in the senior living facilities. And of course, when the senior centers were ordered closed, all those sites closed down. The clients who ate there normally, they ate there Monday through Friday, a noonday meal, they became home delivered clients.
Okay.
So they were still getting the food they needed, but the activities no longer happen, because we do supply all kinds of fun activities for the seniors as they eat to provide that socialization. And so as those stayed closed, our restaurant sites, which is another form of congregate dining out in the county, remained open and were permitted to do the grab and go, the pickup service. And those do stay available, and those are located at Old Village Diner in Pickerington, Mama's Diner in Baltimore, and the new Pawpaw's Diner. It's a sister company there to Mama's.
Up in Pleasantville, right?
In Pleasantville. Yeah. And the way that works is we want to make sure seniors call Meals on Wheels, fill out a very short application that allows us to receive.
They can do that on the phone?
They can do that on the phone,
okay.
And we'll send them the application. You send that back, and once you're approved, you can eat at any 3 of those restaurants.
Oh, okay.
And what is great is then you can go out and pick up a meal, and maybe it's you and your spouse. You can go and maybe meet a couple of other friends at a park and have your lunch or your dinner. But again, just remaining connected to others is really important. And also having that good nutrition is important. And so we encourage you, if you're interested in the restaurant program, to give us a call and speak with Sarah Arledge at Meals on Wheels at 740-681-5050.
We talk about all this. You've talked about the tremendous stress for a moment that it put on your organization there. How you just had to change things up just on a dime. You had to turn and say, we can't do this, now we've got to do this. And I think I'm hearing from many places like you, Michelle Richland last week talked about it with the after school, I think you find out you're capable of different things, and your people can do different things and additional things that you never had any idea you'd ever have a need to do.
I think you hit the nail on the head. You really did, because we're looking at different processes, and I wonder why we have to continue doing that.
Because we've always done it that way.
Right. Well, the Ohio Department of Aging put in place I don't know, maybe a year or two ago, that every senior has to sign for their meal. And one of the biggest eye-openers is they restricted that during the pandemic, of course, because you're not wanting to hand a pencil back and forth between us and them. And And
now do you find out it's not that important?
And we're finding out, why should we have to continue that? We can verify the meal delivery. Should we not keep that in place too? And that's an Ohio Department of Aging rule, but I'm hoping that they revisit that and look at that and say, boy, that would reduce exposure to many things, many illnesses, by not passing that pencil and pad back and forth.
Did you find out too that your bosses, the people you answer to, Ohio Department of Aging, they were a great resource for you?
Absolutely. Multiple webinars, the Ohio Association of Senior Centers, the Central Ohio Area Office on Aging, our local EMA and Health Department. There was so much information coming, and it was just great to maybe hear it from a variety of different sources and that kind of thing. So I think we had really good guidance all the way around. Our leadership team at Meals on Wheels was phenomenal. I got to give a shout out for Cindy Wells, Sarah Arledge, and Linda McDonald. All did a fantastic job. We meet daily, or met daily. We're kind of loosening up a little bit now, but meeting daily to figure this all out. And what am I saying? We're waiting for word from the governor, hopefully within the next couple of weeks, on guidance on when we can reopen to the general public.
We'll watch the press conferences. We all learn from those things. Now, this summer, tell you what you have on in terms of fundraising.
So we do have our annual campaign going on this
summer.
Still
going?
Yep. March for Meals was canceled this year, so some of that funding, we've forwent some of the funding that we normally receive. So the annual campaign this year will be important to us. And the theme of this year's campaign is Service Delivered. And that's just kind of that one little sentence statement that says, how do we know that we're successful? And I think what that statement doesn't let people know is everything that goes on behind the scenes.
Two words, there's a lot behind that.
There is, and we work as a team, as we talk. We're many people working together for one result, and that is quality service for our seniors. And we hold ourselves accountable individually and as a agency to make sure that we're doing the best we can each and every day. The adaptability, we just talked about it, being able to turn, educate ourselves, be resourceful so that we can persevere and adapt and change as needed, and that was huge this year. Our commitment to outcomes, whether it's responsible use of those resources, compassionate care for our seniors, or just making sure we're delivering the highest quality services, we're holding ourselves accountable for that. And then compassion. We want to deliver every service that we can with compassion for our seniors. We're meeting them right where they are in their lives. So if you're interested in supporting our work, we encourage you to donate online this year through Meals on Wheels, fairfieldcounty.org. Or we can take checks, we can take stock, and that kind of thing. We do have a endowment fund at the Fairfield County Foundation that receives donations as well. So if you would like to support our work, we would greatly appreciate it to help us continue to provide those services for the most vulnerable seniors here in our community.
Well, when you talk about essential services, I think of Meals on Wheels as being in the team photo of really ones that were needed, and just such a great job through all this, and I'm sure all your clients are just so thankful that you found a way to get this done. And
that's been so rewarding just to hear their comments of how much they appreciated the services.
Executive Director with Meals on Wheels, Anna Tobin. Anna, thank you, and continue the great work. Good luck with the fundraising. We'll talk to you as the year moves on, and whatever the new normal is, whatever that becomes, we'll chat with you about that. Keep up the good work.
Thanks, Paul.
Thank you. Anna Tobin with Meals on Wheels, Fairfield County. We'll be back in just a moment.
Fairfield Federal. When it comes to our customers and our community, we go above and beyond to help. Our people make the difference.
It's a hometown bank. It's located here in Fairfield County. Branches are convenient. They're located here in Pickerington, where my office is. I'm in Lancaster a lot, and they have plenty of branches there. And I much prefer dealing with the hometown banks rather than the larger nationwide chain banks.
So far, everybody's been so personable, and for us to bank with the local bank, and we bank in Lancaster, it's been so wonderful because we'll call somebody, Steve will call somebody, and they'll get back to us right away. Or they'll say, okay, we're going to make a decision in the basement tomorrow, and they'll get back to us, rather than calling a bigger bank where we had to wait and we didn't always get the same person the next time we called for a investment banking opportunity, or getting something appraised, any of those kind of things.
Everybody is very customer friendly. A lot of times I'll bring my dog Bear with me, and the staff love him here, and of course he loves them and the treats that he gets, so it's just a nice kind of a family type environment.
Personal or business banking, whatever you need, we take it seriously because we know you do. Stop by today at any of our 3 locations and see why the difference is clear. Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan specializes in banking that revolves around you.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
We appreciate Anna Tobin joining us and talking about Meals on Wheels. As we continue the show today, probably there's more chatter, more buzz about what's going to happen to us here in Fairfield County, but everybody really wants to know about the fair. When you think about the festival's been canceled, the fireworks were dramatically different from how they were over July 4th. The parades have been canceled, almost everything's off, but the one thing that we still kind of grasp onto is the fair. At this point, we never know, but the fair at this point is still going on here in Fairfield County. We know it'll be different. We know it'll be changed. State Fair's gone. Pickaway County just had theirs. We'll find out how that went. But I thought it was important for us to talk about the Fairfield County Fair. So we got the 2 big guns from the Fairfield County Fair. Next to me is Nancy Myers, who is president of the board out there, and then Jim Marcinko, who is the manager. First of all, thank you for joining us. And as we think of you personally, I'm sure it's been a struggle for the last few months, but everybody's good?
Right now.
Right now?
We are good.
Things could change.
Things could change.
And
I appreciate you having us on.
Well, that's all right, and that's something we were talking about before we went on. As we do this show, and Jim and Nancy will be saying this is how it's going to be, but that could change tomorrow, and certainly by October, things could change. So I'm sure they'll be relating stories to us about things going on for the Fairfield County Fair that they know as of today. These are the facts as of today. Come October, don't hold them to that. Things are dramatically different.
Yes.
When you became head of the fair board, in your wildest dreams, did you ever think this would be how it?
I had no idea that this was going to happen, and I hope that we aren't going to have it next year also. So, it's not a exciting thing for this to be this way, but it's a challenge.
Sure. So. And Jim, as the manager, golly, when you said yes to that, maybe you wouldn't have said yes. You know what your year is going to be like here. Again, the state fair is gone. I mean, that's a big one. We talk about that, and then everybody sort of gets a little wobbly here about what our fair is going to look like. Like we say, every other big event in town has either been postponed or moved to August or September. As of today, at least the fair is still going on.
Right.
Yeah.
What we're calling it, we're having a full modified fair.
Full modified.
And what that basically means is that we have events that we'll normally have always had, we won't have. And some that are located in certain places, like our Blue Ribbon Auction, we always have. It's a kind of a fundraiser for the art hall, plus then the individuals with the pie and cakes, the best ones, they get to sell them. And we're going to have that in a different building. We'll be having it where we can social distance more. The art hall is such a close proximity, everybody, so we're taking it over the Ed Sands building, and we'll have seats out for 6 feet apart. And everybody can sit at the seat still, but won't be bunched together, so hopefully.
Nancy, as you've had meetings about this, and I bet the meetings have been relentless and changes, and almost every time you have a meeting, probably something's different. Some restless nights about all this?
Yes, there has been. But we've got a lot of we have really good board directors.
Sure.
And they're working very hard. We have different committees that are working for the junior fair, some that are working for our Grange Hall, We're working on the grandstand. So we have different committees that are going to be setting up plans, and that will all go to the Board of Health. We definitely have got to work with the Board of Health. So this is something that everyone is working hard on right now.
And Jim, when I think about the fair and the things that are going to be modified, and some will have to be canceled. We'll probably talk about some of those things. The things that I thought about first of all were the young people with their animals, because that's really, in my mind, that's the point of the whole fair, the agricultural aspect of it. That's the first thing that came to my mind. And the second thing was the band day down there. That's such a huge event at the fair, and I know in each of these events you've had to make some changes.
Right, yeah. The animals probably have directional signs in the buildings. People can go one way, then down another aisle one way. Try to keep some distance.
You'll still try to have the auctions?
Right. We're still going to try the auctions,
Okay.
but it'll be limited number of people that'll
Sure.
be able to come to the auctions.
Sure.
Yeah, probably so many per family type of thing.
Yeah.
And because see, with the grandstands, either place, the maximum we can have is 50% of the
Sure.
people in there. And then you're supposed to separate out family members, or
Yeah.
families are supposed to sit together, and
Right.
other families
Right.
separate with 6 feet in between them. So that cuts down your numbers quite a bit real fast.
Yeah.
And like with the band show you brought up, well, we're probably going to have to cancel that this year.
It's not official yet, but probably. I mean, you think things the way you're going right now, things are
Right.
spiking, getting a little worse, in fact, instead of a little better. So,
And another thing, we're not sure how the schools are going to go.
Sure.
They may not. Hopefully they'll be in school. My wife teaches. I know she's hoping they're in school, but we know that's going to be modified also.
Yeah, and I think that's what you're
Right.
seeing there. I think that of all the opportunities, I think one thing you can count on is school won't be normal
Right.
when August 20 something comes.
Exactly.
You're just not everybody's going back together, so it's going to be different.
And I think that would affect the show anyway, but the band show. But I think that'll be something that'll be probably won't have this year just for the crowds, But when we have anything else in the grandstand, as far as for the Monday night, we have bull riding. We'll be there again. It'll be every other row, and you'll be seated in family groups. And if you're not a family group, then it'll be split over, and then you'll have that person or individual sit. So we're figuring we'll probably only end up with probably 30 to 40% of capacity in the grandstand by the time you do all the health requirements, which we have to.
Has this affected how you schedule? Because you always have people coming in, and over the years have been thrill riders and daredevils and great music singing groups. This obviously has affected how you look at things.
Right. And some of the events we have, like in Yard Hall, like we have some musical acts there.
Yeah.
They'll be canceled because
Yeah.
it's just so small of an area.
And you can't draw people in to congregate together. That's
Right.
another thing.
That's
too.
another thing,
Sure.
yeah.
You got that number of 10 still, and then they'd rather just have family members together that are very close.
Now, do you get direction from, obviously we all get direction from the governor, and it was Dr. Acton, and now it's changed a little bit, but the big direction comes from them. But do you have an overriding agricultural board that you answer to that gives you information?
Well, we're members of the Ohio Fair Managers Association, and they do give us direction there. But basically, it comes down to you have to follow what your local health department says. And I've gotten to know them real well up there. So, yeah. And it's kind of bad when they say, well, you have an event coming, like we have a car show this weekend, and they say, well, talk to Jim at the fair office. He'll tell you how to do it.
Yeah, that's how it gets down too.
That's not what I wanted,
And Nancy, I imagine every time you folks have a meeting or something, there's new changes, there's things that are different, there's things that you could do a week ago you can't do now.
Right,
I bet the only thing constant is change.
Is change, yes. We're going to probably be month by month. And I think we'll probably be putting a lot of those changes on our website.
Okay.
Which try to keep everybody up to date.
And that is?
The website is
www.fairfieldcountyfair.org.
Or you can just put, I know if your search engine, just put in the Fairfield County Fair,
Yeah,
and
I was gonna say
it'll lead
Fairfield
you
County
to that.
Fair will
It'll
lead you to it.
But you'll
Yes.
try to have everything as
Yes.
they occur, try to keep that up
yes,
to date.
because it could change clear up till the day before.
Yeah.
Really.
And the dates on the fair again were?
October 11th through 17th.
Now, as far as we know, that's on.
That's still on.
Those are
Those
still
exact
on.
dates, they won't change.
Yeah, that's one thing that won't.
They won't change.
Yeah, we've got that. But I can imagine you've looked at every single event that's and there are so many things that you have going on when you look at your programs. As I think about the programs, which you always have, and we're always able to look at, every day is just jam packed with things going on. And I'm sure you've had to look at each and every one of those. I'm involved, and I don't know if you had any change. I'm involved with the married couples, 50 years or more.
Yeah.
That tent down there at LOH is just packed with people. We can't get any more people in there. That's going to be, if
It's
it
gonna
even
be
still
enough.
goes on,
Well,
it's not going to
we've
be.
talked to WLOH.
Yes.
We're not doing the 10th this year.
Okay.
So we'll
Because
be
they're
doing
such
the
a
50 years.
congregation.
Congregation.
Oh, my.
Right, exactly.
Yes.
They're going to be at the fair still, WLOH is, and they're going to still have their area there, but we will not have the tent
Sure.
because of the fact of it, the congregating part of it, and the 50-year thing. Of course, that's some of the people that are most susceptible.
Because that's picked with people that you don't want out, frankly.
No,
some of those people
they're
there.
in the-
Now, how about things like food and food booths around there? Because if there's anything other than agricultural and band we think of, it's food at the
Food.
Fairfield County Fair.
The vendors are going to be following the COVID-19 rules. So we'll have the vendors, most of them, but they will have to have the social distancing
Sure.
in the lines. They'll probably be serving, having masks. I mean, they'll be following all the rules just like our restaurants here in town.
With the I can't think of the name of the little restaurant that you run up there by the
dining
track, the dining hall.
Oh.
Will that be open in some fashion?
Yes,
Yes.
it should.
Okay.
It should be.
But again, everything has changed. Well, if you could get 100 people in there, now you're probably down to a maximum of 50. Sure. And between now and October, it could be 20.
It could be 20.
We just don't know.
Yeah, you don't know. That's the one thing about it, the uncertainty of it, and
Has changed.
we
a
do
lot.
know that we will be obviously modifying a lot of things, and hopefully, the people when they come in will expect that and understand that we're doing that for a reason.
Everybody.
We're not doing it because we want to be mean.
Now, the Pickaway County Fair went on over there in Circleville. Were you able to look at what they did and get any ideas yourself on, that's a good idea for us, or we should try that? Were they just like watching a golfer on when somebody putts and the next guy putts the same line? Were you able to look at them and come up with some ideas that would help you?
Yeah, we looked at when I went over there one evening, and the different signages they had. We liked some of the different signs they had, and they kind of did their grandstand the same way we have to do ours, which
Okay.
you're supposed to. That's state mandated.
The thing is every county, the health departments are a little bit different.
Sure.
So we have to understand that, Pickaway County's health department might have approved something where maybe our health department won't.
Sure.
So, we do have to think about that. And I know our community, we're really excited to have this fair. And we hope that the community will also take a little bit of responsibility and keep their social distancing, their hand sanitizing, do the things that they need to do also.
And I think we'll find that will be the
Right.
case, because I think we're already into that now. I think most people understand how important it is, but now we're going to be through October when this is all occurring. We will have gone through an entire summer of watching this, and if people want to keep the fair, you're going to have to do it a certain way, and there's going to be rules. Will the parking be the same out there? Will you still have parking?
Yes, yeah, we'll still
Okay.
have the parking and all that.
Okay.
So that shouldn't be affected because you're out in the open air and all that.
Okay.
So
Masks required. If it was today,
we're going to recommend.
Recommend.
everybody wear a mask.
recommend, because as of today, it's not demanded, certainly in Lancaster and Fairfield County, we're
Right.
not.
But it
by
could
October,
be.
you're
It
right,
could be.
it could be.
We're going to recommend. We're going to probably have signs up for that. And we're going to try to have the people that are working for us at the fair, try to have them wearing masks. And, much as we can to try to help them. Because a lot of those are older people that work with us.
And I've had a lot of groups on. Again, we always talk about the virus, but the one common thread comes up: the health department. I think if there's any place I wouldn't want to be,
I wouldn't want to be
maybe
in
the
health
fair would be
department.
rough, the festival would be rough, but man, everything goes through
them.
the health department. Every question, maybe they ask Jim, but Jim goes to the health
Yeah,
department to get
first.
us.
Yes.
Yeah,
So,
that's, like I say, I've got to know them pretty well.
Yeah.
Not almost too well. That's
Send him Christmas cards this year. You'll be on your Christmas card
And I've
list.
already told him I didn't want their job, And he's agreed with it.
Well, our guest has been Nancy Myers, who was president of the Fair Board, and Jim Marcinko, who's the fair manager. And gosh, you've got a big job ahead of you. And before October, we'll get you back on here and we'll talk about, because we could even have you on tomorrow and some things possibly would be changed then. But we appreciate the big job that you do, and the fair is so important to just to the
youth.
mindset and to the youth, and to have that going, I think, will just be a real plus. So best of luck in trying to keep this going and to make the changes you need to do. Thanks for everything here. We're looking forward to it, and we'll have you back, and we'll talk about the many changes that I bet we see.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank
Sure,
you.
Jim, Nancy, thank you very much. Thank you for joining us on Fairfield Today.
Interface Video, in cooperation with Fairfield Federal, presents Fairfield Today. Brought to you by Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan, Fairfield Medical Center, Fair Hope Hospice and Palliative Care, the Frankie Smith Funeral Home, Fairfield County Adam H., Dagger Law, and the Fairfield County Board of Developmental Disabilities.